Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are new here, my name's Leonie. I am a mum to a toddler and I am pregnant with my second baby. So this video is going to be, first of all, a quick Q&A. I put a question box up over on my Instagram. If you don't follow me, I'm over there at leonie.parker. I'm showing a lot of pregnancy content at the moment, so if you're into that, please go give me a follow, it'd be much appreciated. So I'm going to answer the questions on there. A lot of them were the same, so it's going to be a quick one because a lot of people want to know the same things really. And then I thought I'd do a quick early pregnancy symptoms, first trimester pregnancy symptoms, just go over that and the differences between my pregnancies. So I had a few questions about how far along I am. At the time of this video, just a little over 15 weeks, so I've just gone into my second trimester, which is great. It's going quite quickly. The first trimester definitely went a lot faster than last time. Were your worst symptoms so far? So I'm going to go into my symptoms, but I'll just say this time round, tiredness. I did feel a little bit sicky, had a bit of nausea, but I wasn't sick, but the tiredness has by far been my worst symptom. Right, let's get into some questions. Now I know a load of these are the same and there is a load about symptoms, so I'm going to leave them towards the end of the video and kind of like go into the symptom part of the video. So there's quite a few about finding out the gender. So are you finding out the gender? Do you have a gut feeling? Yes, we are. I can't wait. I've got my scan booked next week, so at 16 weeks, the earliest I can find out, I've booked a scan to find out the gender. In terms of gut feeling, I don't have like a predominant like feeling. With Isla, I just knew she was a girl. I was adamant. There was no change in my mind. I had just had such a strong overwhelming feeling with her. This time round, I thought it was a boy up until like a week or so ago. Now I'm swaying towards girl, but I really don't have any inkling really either way. I'm not sure. Isla refers to baby as baby sister. She's adamant it's a girl. She wants a baby sister, so who knows, she could be right, but I don't have such a strong feeling this time around as I did with Isla, but definitely going to find out. So excited to do my gender reveal, find out if I'm having a boy or a girl. So next question, how did you know you was ready for another baby? I don't think you ever truly know you're ready for another baby, or let alone your first one. You never know you're truly ready. It just feels like it was one of those things, right? I got to a point where it was definitely quite a big consideration. I feel like I could do it now, and it was just taking the plunge really. So around 18 months postpartum is when I started really feeling a lot better in myself physically. I just felt like I was back to my old self really. I got I was recovered from birth, the pregnancy, just the craziness of my hormones postpartum. Like postpartum was such a hard journey for me. It took me a very long time to recover and just getting that like crazy baby stage out of the way and resting and sleeping. So around 18 months I felt like I was physically in a lot better position, but I don't think I was ready in my life for another baby. And I spoke to Adam and I said around like after Isla turned 2, because we had a holiday 2 weeks before she turned 2, and I was like, well, I don't want to be pregnant on holiday, so let's not try before then, and then we'll wait till it's Isla's birthday, and then things happen in July, so it's kind of like from August onwards. So after she turned 2, I was feeling a lot better in myself, and I was like, right, I feel like we're in a good position with life, and working out things with like finances as well. I just felt it was a good time to start trying and it would fit in. So I don't think you ever be in 100% fantastic position to try for a baby or know you're ready. It was just that last bit is a leap of faith. How are you feeling? Well, now the second trimester has kicked in, I'm starting to feel a lot better. The first trimester can be quite rough. The tiredness, the sickness, just everything you go through in the first trimester is rough. But I'm definitely feeling so much better now. I'm coming out of that period. Still a little bit tired, but I'm definitely not as like knackered as I was before. So I'm feeling a lot better. How far? I've got a few about how far along I am. I'm currently 15 and a bit weeks, coming up to 16 weeks. So I am just starting into the second trimester. Yeah, and I love the second trimester. It's really good with Isla, so hopefully this time round it would be really good as well. Have you had any cravings yet? I would say no. I don't think my cravings with Isla kicked in until late second trimester. One thing I have been a bit partial to, I am loving really hard crunchy grapes at the moment. So if that's going to be my craving, I'm quite happy, because last time with Isla I was just craving full fat Coca-Cola. I had like so many cans a day, I put on so much weight, so I'm hoping that my cravings will be something healthy this time round. How has pregnancy been with a toddler? Well, it is definitely a different experience from the first time round without having a kid. It's different. It's not bad different. In a lot of ways it's quite good, because this time around I haven't been able to focus so much on checking my apps, checking how far along I am, checking if the baby's the size of a grain of rice and things like that. So my first trimester feels like it went so much quicker this time around, because I've got a kid to focus on and I don't have so much time to focus on those things. It's just gone so much quicker. Negatives are you don't have time to rest as much as you did if you know your first pregnancy. With my first pregnancy, after work I would have a nap and it was glorious. Like I was tired, had that pregnancy exhaustion, but I was able to nap. This time around things like that don't happen. I've got to get on with life. I am going to bed pretty early. Like as soon as I put Isla down, I am going to bed. So in some aspects it's been hard, just battling with the tiredness really. I haven't had, I'll go into my symptoms in a minute. I haven't had that many major symptoms in my first trimester apart from the tiredness. So that's the only thing I've really been suffering with. So it's just been a bit of a fighting my way through. There has been a few times where I feel really guilty about this, but me and Isla have been sitting on the sofa, she's been chilling watching her iPad, and I've sat there and all of a sudden I've just fallen asleep. And it's really bad, because obviously falling asleep, she could have got up to whatever, but she decided to smack me in the face when she saw that I was sleeping. She wouldn't have none of that. So I've been to the point where I've been so exhausted I've just fallen asleep on the sofa like that, like no control. I'm that exhausted, but I've survived. You will too. You know, so many people do it. It's hard, but you get through it and it does go so much quicker the second time round. So next question, how is your pregnancy going overall? Yeah, fine. I want to say it's not as smooth sailing as it was with Isla, but it's not exactly bad either. This time round it just seems like I've got a lot more appointments going on, but that is because of the birth I had with Isla and other things. So it's all fine. I did have a little bit of internal bleeding, which did worry me in the beginning. I did put that in a couple of my previous like first trimester and early scan vlogs, but that's all cleaned up now. I was ill a bit as well, had a really bad chest infection. I've never felt so ill in my life. But pregnancy wise, yeah, I'm good. I've not had any major issues so far, and hopefully it stays like that. And I had a quite smooth sailing pregnancy with Isla. No major complications apart from at the end I had quite bad SPD. I'm probably gonna get that again, but that's not gonna be till later in pregnancy. But yeah, overall it's going really well. I'm really blessed and really happy that this baby is safely cooking and growing nicely. Right, next part of the video, let's get on to symptoms. Now I thought I would like include this kind of part because I got so many questions on symptoms. So I thought I'd do first of all like the early pregnancy symptoms before I kind of officially knew I was pregnant, and then I'll go into like my first trimester symptoms, and I'll do both pregnancies because they are a little bit different. So early pregnancy symptoms before I knew I was pregnant with Isla. Now they say when you know, and with Isla what I was feeling, I just know, and I still remember it as clear as day. So it was Saturday and I was in a lecture for uni, and I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I just kept getting this like waves, and it felt like waves of nausea coming over me, like, but not really strong like I thought I was gonna hack, but just like almost like a really like car sickness kind of feeling. And then I just kept needing to pee all the time, and I was like, oh, this is not normal. And I think that day I just knew I was pregnant. Like these feelings, like needing to wee all the time, like I was constantly peeing. And yeah, with that, I was just like, I just knew that day. And I went home and I tested and I got a faint line. And then I tested at 4 o'clock in the morning the next day, and it was like, said I was pregnant. And I just, in that moment, I knew, like I was adamant, like it was like alarm bells were ringing in my head. This time round, I didn't have that. The peeing, like I definitely had the peeing all the time, but that didn't really start till after I tested. So with Isla, I tested about 6 days early, 5 days early. It was definitely before my period was due. This time round, I tested 2 days after my period was due. So I missed my period this time round. So I was a bit later testing. But the symptom I definitely look back and I did have was hunger. I was so hungry. I remember having 4 McDonald's, and I'm not a great lover of McDonald's. Like I will eat it, but it's not my go-to. But yeah, I had 4 in 1 week, and I was just starving, and I just needed to get something. I was like, I just need to get McDonald's or something. And yeah, and the hunger was definitely an alarm bell this time round. And just before I tested as well, I must have had like this awe about me, or this sense, because some woman went to me, oh, how many weeks are you? And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then she was like, oh, like, I didn't say that, but like she kind of knew she had put her foot in it. And I was like, I'm not pregnant. And then like a few days later I found out I was. So there must have been some kind of like glow about me. But yeah, this time around, I looking back at it, the hunger. And I think if it was my first pregnancy, I probably would have been a lot more focused on these symptoms. But where I mean, we were trying, so it wasn't like a massive surprise that I was going to be pregnant. But I kind of like just put it on the back burner a bit, and I was like, I don't know, like maybe. And I just wasn't focusing on the symptoms so much. Also, another early symptom is cramping, and it's quite like for me a dull low cramp, and it's generally implantation cramping, but it can feel like a bit of a period, and it's like cramp. And especially if you find out you're pregnant and it's your first time and then you feel all this cramping going on, it can be a bit scary. Like for me, I found like, oh, my cramping, what's going on, there's something wrong. But yeah, you do get the implantation cramping. I definitely got that both times in both pregnancies. So yeah, they are my like pre-finding out symptoms, my early pregnancy symptoms. So symptoms of the first trimester for me, pretty much the same both time round. Mine, and I feel like for quite a lot of people I've spoken to, the first trimester symptoms don't really kick in until 6-7 weeks of pregnancy. So I found out about 4 weeks, and then you have 2 weeks of feeling like, oh, is this the first trimester? This is amazing. I feel great. And then you get to 6-7 weeks and you're like, oh, holy shit. So both times round, extremely tired. Like there is no tiredness, maybe newborn tiredness, but there is no tiredness like pregnancy tiredness. Honestly, the exhaustion is unreal. Like it is just another level, and the tiredness is what gets to me the most. Both times round, I have had I've had nausea. I had it worse with Isla, and there was a few times I was sick, especially if I drank too much water in the mornings. This time round, I actually haven't been as bad, but I don't know if it's because I was a bit more prepared this time round. Like I knew not to down so much water. I drank more fizzy water because that helped. I was full on my ginger wine. It is like amazing. It's like do shots, it's poured ginger, and it kicks the sickness right out of you. So I think I was a bit more prepared this time. It definitely didn't feel as bad, but I did have it like both times. If I hadn't eaten, like as soon as I got up, I would feel really, really sick. And I'm someone that does intermittent fasting. Normally don't eat till 12 o'clock, suits me fine. I don't like breakfast, but yeah, oh, I can't go out. Like honestly, I am starving all the time. And if I don't eat, I just feel sick. So now I've gone into my second trimester. That's kind of like eased off a bit, but I'm now going to the point where sometimes what I'm eating is making me feel sick. So I'm kind of going the other way now. But yeah, the like nausea is It's strong, but luckily I haven't actually been sick. Another one I had, and I had this for like a week straight, was really bad backache, like horrendous backache, and I was going to bed with a water bottle. Now, I don't remember having backache bad with Isla in the first trimester, but this time around I definitely had backache a lot more. I don't know whether it's because I had a procedure done, oh god, like maybe 3 months to 6 months before like my first trimester, so I had injections into my spine, so maybe my back was a lot more number from like all the steroids and stuff I had in my back. But this time around, yeah, my back has definitely really caused me some issues. Another symptom of the first trimester, and I think it's quite a common one, is headaches. Touch wood, that's not even wood, is it? Touch wood, I haven't had headaches so extreme, but I am getting them every now and again, and then just really like behind the eye and the temple kind of headaches. I can't describe what kind of headaches they feel like. They're not, for me anyway, they're not crippling headaches, but I'm definitely getting them a lot more on and off throughout the first trimester. I think it's pretty common just to get headaches. You can take paracetamol, so just, you know, make sure you've got a lot of them stocked up. But yeah, that is another quite common symptom of the first trimester. So another symptom that I had this time around, but I would say it was a very mild symptom, I think it's heartburn or like acid reflux. Like there's a few times I had a bit of like a sickiness in the back of my throat. I didn't have that with Isla, and I'm someone that was really lucky with Isla in pregnancy. I never suffered from acid reflux or heartburn or anything. Is that the same thing? Is acid reflux and heartburn the same thing? I don't know. But I've never ever suffered from anything like that in my life or my first pregnancy. I think that's because I have so many other digestive issues that my body feels like, well, we're going to give you a break and not cause you any problems around there, thank God. Oh, and just don't like, if anyone suffers from IBS and you know, this is your first pregnancy, my IBS has been fantastic both times in my so far in my pregnancy now. My pregnancy Isla, like it completely like goes away. Like I'm like, what is IBS? I don't have it. And also psoriasis as well. Both times, well I say both times around, with Isla last time, my psoriasis completely cleared up, and it is definitely clearing up now again in my pregnancy. So pregnancy, for all its horrible symptoms and stuff, actually does give you some bonuses. And another bonus, which I've already started noticing, is my nails are growing really long. I have snapped a few. Normally my nails are quite weak and I snap all the time, but actually managed to grow like long for me, and that is one of the bonuses of pregnancy. The long nails and the hair starts to get really nice. Now I never noticed it last time, but I look back at pictures now and I'm like, oh, my hair was glorious before postpartum hits and it all falls out. But that is another sign, your nails and, you know, everything starts getting quite nice. But that's towards the end of I would say the end of the first trimester, going into the second one. The second trimester I know as like the glow trimester. I feel fantastic and everything is just wonderful. And last but not least, and I think this is a very common one, but the bloat. So the bloating in the first trimester is unreal. I had it a lot with Isla. This time round, I just look a hell of a lot more pregnant because my belly and uterus has been stressed. So when I bloat, like I was looking like I was pregnant from 8 weeks this time round. With Isla, it kind of just looked like bloating until I got like I think I started getting a little bit of a bump in the first trimester. So it looked like bloating there. It makes me look like I'm like weeks and weeks ahead in my pregnancy this time around. But bloating is so common, and like, it doesn't cause me discomfort. It's not like my IBS bloating. It's just one of those things. And I think, yeah, everyone suffers from a bit of the bloat, especially you always look more pregnant towards the end of the day when you've eaten than the beginning. Like I wake up and I'm like, oh, Like, my stomach doesn't look as bad. Towards the end of the day, I look like I'm like 6 months pregnant. Yeah, so I really hoped you liked this quick Q&A and early first trimester symptoms vlog. Please give this video a like if you did, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I've got a lot more pregnancy content to come. Also, if you are into pregnancy content, go give me a follow on Instagram. I'll be sharing a lot over there. And I'll see you guys in another video. Goodbye.